One of the first things to determine when choosing a sleeping bag is what type of fill you prefer. There's many different types of fill, but I have it narrowed down to 3 main types: synthetic, down, and treated down. We're going to touch on the key points of each one just to help you determine what type of fill is best for your needs. Synthetic fill is made to mimic the structure of down, and so it's a man-made material that uses thicker strands, more durable strands that provide a framework for very thin strands to trap in your heat. There's many different types of synthetic fill on the market, and with rapidly growing technologies, there's new names out there all the time. To name a few, Cloudloft, Thermal Q, Thermalite, Spirofill, there's many different types of names out on the market. We're going to highlight the pros and cons of a synthetic sleeping bag, and one of the biggest benefits to synthetics is that they have a water-resistant property that continues to provide insulation even when damp or wet. When synthetic fill does get wet, it dries really quickly because the moisture just gets trapped in between the fibers rather than getting absorbed into the fibers itself. Another pro is synthetics are man-made, so they should be completely hypoallergenic. Synthetic sleeping bags are relatively easy to care for as they're usually machine washable in a front-loading washer. Since they dry quickly, you can hang them in direct sunlight for fast drying. There are some downsides to a synthetic bag. They tend to be bulkier, heavier, and not as compact as their down counterparts. They're heavier because there's not as much of a warmth to weight ratio that you do get with a down bag. With the advancing technologies of synthetics, they're getting closer, but they're not quite up to the warmth to weight ratio as down. Down keeps you warm by trapping in an abundance of body heat in its tiny clusters. There's no other material that's as thermo-efficient for its weight than down. So compared to a synthetic bag, down is a lot more thermo-efficient ounce per ounce. Down comes in a variety of fill power, anywhere from 500 to 900. It takes more of 500 fill down to have the same thermo efficiency as 900 fill. So let's say you have a 20-degree sleeping bag that's filled with 550 fill down, and you have a 20-degree sleeping bag that has 900 fill down in it. Both of them are going to be equally as warm, but the 900 fill bag is going to be lighter weight. So fill power is directly connected to the quality of down. There are obvious pros and cons with down insulation. We already mentioned the warmth to weight ratio. And down has a very, very compressible nature, so you're able to take a bag and compress it down to save space in your pack. Some of the cons: down definitely loses its insulating properties when it gets wet or damp, and it's slow to dry, so it requires maintenance when it actually does get wet. Down may contain allergens. It's not completely hypoallergenic, and while the down may not cause an allergic reaction by itself, lower quality down can sometimes harbor dust or particles, and that may cause an allergic reaction. So if you are prone to allergies, it might be wise to invest in better quality down products. The last downside to down would be that they tend to be more expensive than comparable synthetic sleeping bags. So if you are on a budget, you may want to look towards a synthetic bag. The last type of fill we want to mention is treated down. Treated down is essentially a microscopic hydrophobic finish that is applied to each plume of down. This is a permanent treatment, so it's not going to wear off and it's not going to wash off. What it does is makes the down plumes function more like a synthetic material because it sheds water, and so your treated down bag is going to perform more like a synthetic bag than it is like a down bag. This allows you to take down into damp or wet conditions. If you're on a long trip where the bag might absorb water day after day, the bag is going to stay drier longer, and it's going to dry out faster than traditional down, and essentially it's going to keep you warmer because it's shedding that water. Treated down is a great option for anyone that wants something very packable, very lightweight, but also wants to shed that water. The only downside I can see to a treated down bag is that it's going to be more expensive than traditional down. So with the pros and cons of each type of fill, synthetic down and treated down, hopefully you'll be able to have a good starting place for what type of fill is best for your needs.